Welcome to gentle tap on the table, episode 56. Here's your host, Mr. Andrew Reid from Resilient Business Systems. Good morning.
Good morning, with my co-host, Adam Walker, HubSpoke Media.
You went a bit WWE wrestling there.
I did.
The kids have been watching that this week.
Have they?
Been on an absolute trip down memory lane. Bret the Hitman Hart is still rocking around. He's no longer wrestling.
No.
But yeah, saw him on the TV. I was like,
Goodness me. Do you remember those days with Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks and Kendo Nagasaki?
I do. Legends of the game.
Absolutely.
Game? Wrestling? Legends of wrestling.
My nan, God rest her soul, all thought it was real. And she's like, he's pulling his hair. No. He's pulling his hair. Oh, if I was in the ring, I'd stick a pin up his bum.
Oh, really?
Always made me laugh. Always made me laugh. God rest her soul.
Fantastic. How's your week? I did see you. Two things we've done this week. Is that right? Two things. We did a meeting, which feels ages ago.
But that was only Tuesday, my friend.
That was
Tuesday. Teams.
Yeah. And then I
about
was in
a potential
your office.
new website.
I was in your office yesterday.
And that was to...
I was summoned. It was like being called by the head... No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. Oh, and that was to organise the transfer of the domain and the website.
Yeah.
It's a migration, a potential another one today as well.
Absolutely. So
we just seem to be in each other's pockets.
we are indeed.
Michelle's getting worried.
Is she?
Yes, that we may
Well,
be...
she's been helping me as well, actually, with other stuff. So there we
that's
go.
good. So
Michelle has been supporting the rugby club with their emails.
yes, absolutely. How's that going?
Obviously, yeah, very well.
Very well.
All thanks to Michelle's great help.
Absolutely.
So yeah, no, it's been. Do you know what? It's been a really good week. I am quite tired. I was just saying to you before we started. I feel like I've earned my weekend this week. I feel like I've earned my weekend most weeks. And
yeah, well, I've now, as you know, I've been on my silly diet.
Yes.
I'm now in the gym here at wonderful business centre. Yesterday, bearing in mind I've not done exercise for a long time, but yesterday I managed to jog run for 3.5 kilometres. 30 minutes.
I'm really impressed. That's a fantastic achievement. Congratulations. Like, it's honestly the improvements this man has been making has been absolutely incredible.
Yes.
And good on you for getting stuck into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So both me and Michelle are coming in a little bit earlier, and as if it's earlier than earlier, and hitting that there gym.
It'll be rugby next.
No, absolutely not, matey boy.
So yeah, 3 wins. Was it 3 or 4? How many
4,
games
I
have
think,
played? 4 from 4 now. 4 wins. So
Yeah.
you keep telling me you're going to remove my sponsorship if I lose.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it's quite harsh.
Yeah.
But
You could just lie to me.
we won. Yeah, hey, we won. It's like
We won again. We won again.
No, we did win.
Oh, excellent. Well done,
We
you.
did win at the weekend. It was brilliant.
Fantastic.
Really enjoyed it, and we've got more games this weekend, which I'll talk about in my weekend question.
Go for it.
So today. Oh no! Before I do today, library.
Oh, how good was that podcast?
That library podcast. So me and Andy took the podcast on the road.
On the road.
Exactly, you're doing that song. Good.
We're on the road again.
So when I was recording it, because I was producing it myself with the headphones, part of the problem is the headphones I was using, I could kind of hear the ambient. They weren't like noise cancelling, so there was a lot of echo in the room.
Echo.
Exactly. But the audio actually came out decent.
It was very decent. I think it's echoey, but considering
There's
the room,
a bit of an echo, but it wasn't
considering the room we were in, and the ambient noise of the gallery getting updated was slightly in the background.
Yeah.
The biggest thing, I think, was when you dropped the headphones. That was a loud clang.
I was lucky it was just the headphones. I nearly took the entire thing off the table, including wrenching the microphones out of your hands.
Yes.
Susie was absolutely fantastic. If you haven't had a listen to the episode, please do, because
she was on fire.
She's brilliant. She's
Really,
incredible.
really
The
good.
story about some of the work that she was overseeing when at the council, obviously with partners and stakeholders and this, that, and the other. It's a tremendous job, and I think. Well, your mouth was open when you were walking around.
Absolutely fantastic place. I would highly recommend it, and I will be contacting Susie saying, you did say that I could come and have a chat to the young students about 3D printing. Can I?
Yeah, 100%. You were all over those 3D printers.
Absolutely.
No, it was great. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad we did it. We never know. You never know how these things are going to pan out until you've done it. In terms of, I was like, will it be sounding, looking okay as a bit of on the fly.
It was
kind
a
of
bit,
set up,
yeah.
but that's how it needed to be, and actually it worked really well.
I
So
think
was
you
happy
came
with that.
across very well. So good job for yourself. Well done,
Oh,
my
thank
friend.
you.
Well
Thank you.
done.
But no, it was brilliant to go there. So we'll have to have a look at some other venues, I think.
I think so. Maybe the Dolphins sent.
Yeah. I was thinking like a nice beach in the Caribbean.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
We should probably go.
Ask Hopetown if they would host us.
Yeah, I think we need to do that.
We do
I
need
think
that.
we need to do that.
On the
So,
road,
yeah.
if any of our one customer,
Listener.
Mr. Wade.
Yeah, hello, Mark.
Hello, Mark. Can we come and do the live podcast from your place?
There's
Like-
more than one. There's more
Is
than
there
one.
really?
Yeah, there's two.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah,
so no,
no,
it was a
we
good
need to look
episode.
out for venues.
Really,
Great.
really, really, really nice.
So this week I've been quite. What have I been busy with this week? I've been busy with more website work.
That seems to be growing for you.
It is
Yeah.
probably because you're chucking stuff at me, which I'm
That was
very
a-
grateful
that
for.
was a loaded question. 'Cause
Yeah,
I,
it
went,
was.
I know
It
why
was.
as well.
I'm going to talk specifically on that.
Yeah.
But today, do you ever sit there in your business? You run your business, obviously, with Michelle and family and Eddie, of
yeah,
course.
and Dan and
Do you
stuff
ever
like
go,
that.
I've only got so many hours in the day?
I tend to get that during the day where I think we were saying about last week on the podcast when I was like, I sit down at my desk
Yes.
and then I look up and I'm like, clock my watch and I'm like, oh my God, it's 5 o'clock. Where has the day gone?
Yep.
So answer yes. And recently it's also been combined with just breaking down and crying about, no. Whilst-
Expect it to go that way.
no, it's just been combined with wow. I think as we've been speaking, we had a lovely meeting with you and Jess about resilient social media.
Yes.
And we mentioned that next year we're 20 years old.
Which is
I
incredible.
cannot believe. So that's what half of I'm like, I can't believe I'm 20 years old. Not me personally.
Yeah. No,
But the business, but certainly, and you know that we are actively looking for an apprentice. Currently looking with Luke, who's been very, very good and shown some fantastic interest and some real passion, which we're loving from that point of view. And yeah, lately I've just been sat back going, wow, this is just, when I set this up 20 years ago, I did not expect to be doing a podcast. I did not expect to be doing what I am doing still.
Put it plainly, YouTube didn't exist when you set up your business.
Absolutely right, my friend. Google was just about getting there.
It was all about Alta Vista. before
Alta
that.
Vista, Ask Jeeves.
Yeah.
So, yeah, honestly, mate, I'm definitely sitting there sometimes just going, wow, where has not only the time today gone, where's the time going?
Yeah. So today's theme on the podcast, I want to talk about time because I've had some meetings that have, I've been looking at the client and time, and they're trying to run their business or set up their business or stand their business on its own 2 feet.
Yeah.
So I want to go into some of the time challenges today about it,
Right.
and maybe work out some solutions. But here's a couple of the time things that I've got. So we all have the same number of hours in the day. Someone rightly said this last night when they were rugby training. They were saying, jump on a treadmill. We've all got the same hours. Go get fitter. He wasn't saying it me, luckily. But he's like, you need to get fitter, get on a treadmill. We've all got the same hours, use them wisely. But it's true. We need to use our time wisely. And I think the problem is you start out in business and you galloping along like any work, anyone here, anyone there, do you want this, do you want that? Any services, what can I sell you? Do you want a website? Do you want, and you're sort of building it up. But what happens is as you gain momentum, you got more clients. You then need to, in both cases, for us, we've taken on staff.
Yeah.
Or you need to develop a waiting list system if you're,
Automation.
like a decorator. Or you could go down the automation route, which we'll go on to. But for me, time is my biggest challenge that I face.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are a few things like we're recruiting at the moment.
Right. Expanding again. Nice.
Yeah, but the thing is to take time out of the business to go, right, I'm essentially going to do none of my, because the way I look at it in my business is I've got my business work, as in how do I develop my business? How do I do what I need to do? How do I make sure I'm compliant? So just put in our VAT return. Yeah. And I do have support from our accountants, which is fantastic. But it still requires me to do an investment of time to make sure that we've got all the right paperwork in place so they can be best placed to process
Yeah,
VAT
definitely.
return. So there's that. I've got to come out of the business for that. And I see it as like coming out of the business. Actually, break it down, working on the business and in the business. In the business is your client work, working on the business is doing the stuff that develops your business. So then I've had to step aside and go, right, we're recruiting. I need to look at, I need to prepare the spec. I need to advertise it. I need to then filter through. We had 38 applicants in half a week.
Wow.
I was like, I think we need to stop it there then.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
I think I've got enough.
I think I've, so then I've shortlisted from that. But all of that means that a client's website wasn't being done because you can only do one job at a time properly.
No, you certainly can. But also to add to that, and apologies if you were going to mention it there, but I pulled you away from your work to go into meetings about potential new work, sales.
So we're going on to that. So the other side of it was, and I don't begrudge this at all, is you very kindly said, hey, I've got this client who it runs an online retail store.
Yeah.
It needs they're looking to upgrade.
Yeah.
What do you think we should look at?
Yeah,
and I was like, well, thank you for inviting me, first of all.
Yeah.
But then I was like, right, Shopify for this client in particular, I'm like, is the way forward.
Definitely.
So, but I couldn't just go, right, I'm going to do Shopify. I went, right, I'm going to do, I'm going to look at the platform. I can't just put my finger in the air and say that one. I need to actually do some due diligence and things like that. But when you're doing the due diligence, you're not getting paid for that work.
No, you're not.
You're taking off other client work because you need to focus your time on that. But why am I doing it? Well, I know it's right for the business. So I knew that it was worth my time to step away and go, right, what's this? What's the Shopify partner scheme? We are now registered as a Shopify partner.
Excellent.
You've seen my dev site that
I've been very impressive.
On. Yeah, and we went into that meeting and I could pivot out. This sounds a bit technical, I suppose, but could prod and poke all of the listings of the products, and I put some example ones in.
You did.
To accurately go, here's how we can filter out the right things for your customer.
Yeah.
And we had the meeting with the client.
Yeah.
And he was saying, well, actually, I'm not sure whether I'm going to proceed.
I was about to say, with the greatest respect, he was a teeny weeny bit negative to start. No, that's not right. Not negative, but he certainly had his own way of thinking, going, no, I want this, or this, because my clientele don't like all of the fancy blah,
Which
blah,
is
blah.
absolutely valid.
Which is a valid point. Yeah. And it was really strange because as you then started to demonstrate, I could see him turning.
Yeah, it was like, well, I can still do that, but I can do it in this way that's a bit more agile. And that was, for me, it was a really positive experience in terms of that. Not that I'm ever trying to convince a client. I don't think you can ever. They've got to make their own decisions. You've just got to lay out a solid fact. But was that worth my time? Well, yes, because I've learned something. Did we win the work? No.
No, not yet.
But he's looking at it in the future. He's actually gone, well, actually, this would be a good move in the future.
Yeah.
So, hopefully that comes off. But I think, was it worth my time? Yes, 100%, because I learned something new. I've learned a load of skills. And sometimes you've just got to invest the time in something to kind of know it, develop it, and do it. Because I know that I can do a Shopify store. Absolutely can, by the way, 100%. I've done one, now. It's in development. It's on the development side,
but
not
you've learned
published.
it and you've worked through it.
I just don't have little widgets to sell. You know, so it's not as applicable to me, but I need to know how to do it for others. So I've gone down that route. But then I had another client the same day, and this is why I've gone into time. We've been working on the website for quite a number of months now. And part of the issue we sometimes find, websites can be really long tail. I don't know whether you've had this.
Don't get me started.
Yeah. And we can actually boot a website, get all the stuff done that we can do quite quickly.
Yeah.
The issues arise always around content in terms of getting that.
100%. So, as you know, we did websites prior to meeting yourself. What made me not want to do them, and I don't mean that against my customers, I will still do them for customers, but what the challenge, I think, is the word I'm looking for. The challenge is I always struggled with the customer giving me and providing me content. They went, but you know my business. I'm like, no, I don't. And as you know, websites demand a certain length, character, number of words for Google to do its job properly. It's like, and we would get, I won't give any specific examples, but we would get, I'll take you for example, Adam. Can you build me a website because I do social media? Absolutely, Adam. Can you give me a little bit about yourself? I am Adam Walker and I do photography and fly drones. Yeah, thanks for that. That's not quite enough. Well, I don't know what to say. And that battle with the customer, bless them, and you're trying to help them there, but that just soaked up our time, and we're like, it's now getting to be non-profitable for us.
Yep. So absolutely, been there 100% many times, and we always try and manage it. The other example we had is the client came in, we did a meeting. I think very highly of this client. I'm not going to name them, but I think very, very highly.
Resilient Systems.
No, it isn't you.
Ah,
I think very highly of them. But we'll take it to a resilient. We'll pretend that it's resilient, if that's okay. So Resilient comes in, we do the meeting, and I'm like, right, Andy, can you give me all the information that you need? And in truth, they know that you've had the meeting.
Yes.
Right? You're coming to the meeting. You know what I'm asking you for, because we've already been asking you for it over the last couple of months. And we're like, you can see, because we share the staging site, you can see what's there. You can see where we've got that lorem ipsum padding text.
Yes.
So that you've got a heading.
Yes.
We'll just insert cybersecurity here, and then you might have lorem ipsum, blah, 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 as padding text. And you know that you need to write something there.
Yeah.
But you come to the meeting, you've been busy, you've been doing a whole number of things. You are a bit like, I don't know what to write.
Yeah.
But you still haven't necessarily prepared anything to do that. Okay. Now I'm sat there going, right, we're here to move your business on. We're investing our time into your thing. But part of the problem we have, and this is a bit of a call to action to small businesses, like you need to invest the time in your stuff.
Yes.
It's very easy to get dragged into all the client stuff. At one point at HubSpoke in the early days, our marketing looked worse, our social media looked worse than our clients because we were so busy. It was more of a capacity issue. We were so busy doing everybody else's, which looked great. We weren't doing our own properly.
It's that age-old thing, isn't it? You look at a painter and his house is in disarray because he's too busy doing other clients' jobs. Yeah.
But then I made it, no, we have to be best in class in terms of putting it out there. And we made that commitment to ourselves.
Yeah.
But it took me to make that commitment, going, we need to prioritise hours on. I call it putting, on an aeroplane, they say put your own mask on before taking someone else.
Absolutely, because if you then fail, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Interestingly, and apologies for interjecting, we got introduced to not a potential new customer, but working with a customer. I knew this person, and it was great to catch back up with them again. And prior to having that phone call, I went on to their website, and it wasn't finished. It had lorem ipsum everywhere.
Right.
The homepage was okay, but you then started digging, and I'm like, okay. So we had the chat with this gentleman, and I was like, your website? And he went, tell me about it, Andy. He said, I just don't have the time. And I'm like, the problem is you will eventually stop because your client will run out, and you're not feeding the next iteration of your customers. Yeah. And he's like, I know, but I just don't have the time. I'm like, make the time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll lose.
And we do on ours. The problem is when we're trying to, we're sat there. So you come into the meeting, you haven't prepared any text, and we're going.
But Adam, I've been too busy.
But you give us a load of feedback on the cosmetics of the site, which we've already adjusted probably 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're still fiddling with cosmetics, and I get it. You want it right, but you haven't actually bothered to invest the time into the content side of things. So I was like, it's really important that we get this content right, because the way I see it is get version 1 done. I often say, get version 1 done.
Yeah.
It's not whether it's right or wrong. It's just we need a solid version that's representative, just so we can get it published and done. So I then take your headshots. Took your headshots. We're then designing it, getting all the cosmetics. Looks beautiful, right? And then I would go, how's the content coming on? You send me back a graphic, and you've been fiddling with the headshots that I've taken and putting them into more graphics. I was just like, oh, please just get it. And I can't. This isn't a rant.
No.
We've got the content since, and I wouldn't have talked about this.
No. Of course not.
We have the content from the client. It was working out the best way to do it. And sometimes I just say to people, say in plain English what you're doing now,
Absolutely.
and then I'll try and reword that into that. I think sometimes, like when I'm trying to write a marketing strategy for something, if I feel like, the writer's block type thing, I'm like, right, just do it in simple terms. So I'm like, we're going to do a campaign, like literally like that.
Literally.
That this wouldn't go to the client, but I'm we're good. If I'm struggling to get the words right, like we're positioning the client as a leader in blah, blah, blah. If I can't get to the right words, what I'll do is we're going to do a campaign that focuses on a media-led program featuring this type of imagery with this type of style, running a strap line like this.
Yes.
And then I can go back later and then give it the marketing touch in terms of speak. But I've actually defined what I'm going to do. So if I'm going, like when we're doing the podcast studio and writing that, I'm like, podcast, right? You come in, you literally wrote, you come in, someone's here to help you, you'll get a tea or a coffee, we'll have someone producing the podcast, we'll handle all the production, and then what we'll do is you can walk out the room and we're going to send you reels and we're going to publish your episode.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't put that to a client, but the fact is I managed to get it out and written on paper. That is a time-saving exercise for me. So there's two things. One's time-saving. The other is actually taking the time and prioritising. Sometimes it is really difficult to underpin what you do as a business. For years, I'll be honest, I'm marketing. It's like Inception. It can be really difficult.
Yeah.
Whereas, so when I'm working with other companies like IT, I'm like, you need IT, but if I'm like marketing, there's so many different areas that we could do.
Yeah.
It could be, well, actually, I just need some photographs. Actually, I just need this. That's why we're now settled on your marketing media partner.
Yes.
Done. Bosh. That's the headline. And then it's like, so what actually do you need? My point is, business owners need to invest the time. And I suppose anything, if you're wanting to improve in anything in life, need to invest the time into their own thing and like go, what is right for me? At the moment, I'm working on my fitness and weight, and it's not an easy journey. You've done but I mean, give an example. You've invested the time into that process, correct?
Absolutely. I've had to make that time.
Without being me, what have you had to forego, miss, sacrifice in order to do that?
My game playing, my script writing, my time with Michelle. But we've both agreed that we have to do it for the longevity of my health, my life.
Yeah, this is
obviously,
health.
I'm saying mine is because I've got high blood pressure and stuff like that. But that was a decision that wasn't taken lightly because I've got a good life. We finish work. I work hard, but I also play very hard.
Yeah.
I like to go home. I like to have a drink. I like to go out for nice meals. I like to play. I like to script. I had to forego that and concentrate on my life to say, no, I need to get healthier.
And it would be very easy to just go, I need to prioritise the business.
It would be very easy to do that if I take the health side of things. The doctor gave me a choice. Do this diet and get healthier or stick on the tablets. And I'm like, okay, what's the advantage of the health, the diet? You live longer. So, I'm talking openly. He basically said that you're 54.
21.
Yeah, 54. He went, in the next 10 to 15 years, if you continue the way that you are going, you are probably 10 to 15% more likely to have a heart attack. And I'm like, but I don't want a heart attack. So he's like, the alternative, go on this diet. So, and that's what I'm saying. The advantage is, okay, I'll live longer, I hope.
Yeah.
The downside is I had to take time out of my life and my business to get it, but it was the right thing to do.
Change your routine behaviour.
Right
and
thing
that's
to
what
do.
I mean. Thank you for sharing that, first of all. I think what I'm kind of getting at is it all comes with the sacrifice or trade-off of time.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a horrible sacrifice.
No, it does
But
not.
it just means it's like you've got to kind of go, hang on a minute, what am I doing? What do I need to do? Be very, all my client work, I make sure I get my client work done.
Yeah.
Like I work my backside off to get that
And I know
Spotify
you do.
thing.
I know you
'cause
did.
We
Yeah,
had
I
a few
appreciate
days,
that.
didn't we?
We did.
And you were like,
Sadly, it was over the weekend for you, but I do appreciate it.
I got it done.
Yeah.
And was I prepared to invest that time? Yes. And did I work out a suitable way in which I can manage that doesn't forego the family, doesn't forego my rugby? We had our wedding anniversary at the weekend, so we went out for a meal.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So like it didn't affect any of that.
No.
It's like, how do I implement that?
Yeah.
I know that somewhere something's got to give. And it's exactly the same with running a business in terms of you just need to take some time sometimes to improve the thing that you're doing. So you've been doing it with AI. You go, right, I'm going to develop this AI process. It's going to take me hours now. You're saying it with the client.
Yeah.
They paid, it was the data thing, wasn't it?
The data with Stuart at
The
Bridgewater.
data. Yeah, you're like, it's going to cost now, but actually it'll repay you in itself. And there's an example of why I'm saying to people invest time. Today is the whole thing about investing time.
Yeah.
Because it's so important. Running a business is hard.
But it's also, it is hard, Adam, but let me give you an example from Resilient's point of view, and God bless, Michelle won't mind me saying this. Michelle, when we fix machines for a new user, set up machines for a new user, and you've seen this side of things.
You had about 6 in there yesterday.
It's unbelievable,
right.
right? So 6 laptops all on the go at once. When I first started the business and Michelle was on board and we get this, we developed a routine. Okay, it's a procedure. Do this, Windows updates, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, install this, install this, install this, check this, check this, check this. And me and Michelle, it wasn't an argument, but it was a heated discussion that I was going, right, you continue doing that, Michelle, as in manually. I need to automate this. But Michelle was like, but hang on a minute, you're offloading all of that work to me. Why don't we ignore the automation and just do it manually and we'll get them all done? Yes. But if I take the time out and develop this now, not only can we do 6 machines at once, as you saw yesterday, it'll speed the whole process up. So there was a big argument, discussion to say, yeah, but you're leaving me to do it and we're going to run out of time for the clients. Okay, we work long hours and long weekends to get it done in the end. Now, you saw that yesterday because you were very interested and you asked and I went, look, here's all the machines. You saw and developed the front end that we've done. I go, look, click, click, click. He said, what's it doing now? And I'm like, watch. Little messages kept popping up going, installing Google Chrome, installing...
I imagine little invisible people
Correct.
sat at each laptop.
Absolutely.
This is how
but
I'd describe
doing
it.
that now, the time that I took out and invested now means that all 6 laptops, I just run and go, 1, 2, 3, 4, program, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, program, go. And both me and Michelle sit back now and go, look at it go. Yeah. Isn't it incredible? But that was a very difficult decision to make. The key is, from my point of view, if I didn't do that and the business got bigger, I'm like, 6 laptops, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can't cope anymore. Time is going to run away with me. Stop. Invested the time in the automation, looked around, and it took me a good 2 to 3 weeks of finding and literally grinding my gears to go, what is it that I can do? Found the right program, found the right solution, job done.
And there's an example, and you could translate that to creating content for
you
business.
can 100%,
you could translate
Adam.
it to plan your marketing. You could be translating it to go cash flow forecast. We've got a cash flow forecast that I do religiously.
Yeah.
Best thing I could have done.
Yes.
Because I know what I am forecast to make at any given time. Like I know what I can literally load my spreadsheet today. And I could tell you if no business changed as of now, I could tell you what our end of year would be.
2p.
In terms of turnover. Yeah, 2 pence.
2 pence.
But it's things like that.
Definitely.
You had to invest the time in that in the first place. I got to invest time to update it, to accurately go, right, what work, every quarter I sit down and go, right, what work have I got there? What work's new? What's recurrent? Where can
I get it, Adam.
I need to do that.
What I love what you're doing is what I did with my software, the same example you had with your Shopify. So I was having customers asking me, can you look after mobile phones? I'm going, currently, no.
Right.
Took the time out to find an MDM, mobile device management solution. Okay.
Yeah.
Was it the right thing to do? Well, yes, because now I'm making money out of that and I can offer that new service. So when a customer comes to me, a brand new customer talking about mobile phones, I'm like, you should need an MDM. So, what's an MDM? You talk about all the benefits. Now, swap that around. I come to you with hopefully another customer with an e-commerce site. You can now go, aha, Shopify.
I've got it.
I've got it
and
for you.
In fact, I've got it in development already.
But the key is you've taken that time out, you've invested it. Now, can I ask, will that help you build the business and has it given you another, arrow to your, whatever it is?
String to your bow.
String to your bow. Has it done that for you?
Arrow to your quiver.
Are you now a Shopify seller?
Yes.
So
like we are a Shopify partner. This is the official term. But then I'm like, I now need to put that on the website. So what do I have to do? I've got to invest some time again, but it is so important that I do that. Am I busy? Yes. We all are.
Silly busy.
Am I busy?
Everybody is.
100%. We're doing a website migration today.
We are.
Yeah, I've done the front end. You're doing the emails. We're ready. We're positioned. We need to point the website live and get the emails live
DNS
and do all
stuff.
that. Yeah, which is going to happen after this.
Yeah.
Do we need to do it? Absolutely. Do we need to do the other stuff? Yeah. I've got an interview later today. Do I need to do that? 100%.
Yeah.
Does that interview take me away from my computer and getting work done? 100%.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed you get the job.
Thank you. Just sat, you'll see me sat in front of a mirror.
Hello, my name's
yeah,
Adam.
Yeah, but I cannot stress enough how much like businesses need to. You've got to set out your shop front. I've just there is a
Shopify shopfront.
yes, exactly. There is a van in the car park. My van.
Your van, the
Yeah,
white,
the business
the
van.
media HubSpot
It's no
van.
longer white. It's HubSpoked. As of yesterday.
I'm going to go out in the car park and have a look.
Yeah. So here's a case in point. I've had to pay for that. Yeah.
Did you not get it done free?
No, it's funny, isn't it?
That's a
I've had
bit
to pay
odd.
for that. What's the return on investment?
100% that you drive around and people will go, oh,
People just see
HubSpot.
it. Yeah. And yes, has it cost me money? Yes. Is it worth the investment? Well, if you're looking at it commercially, it's a really hard one to judge
It is.
because it's brand. We've got some, we sponsor the rugby club. Our logo's outside the front of the rugby club. But even just that alone, my experience with that is more people go, oh, I've seen that. Yeah. So the one thing estate agents have got going for them is those boards that they have on the
all
for
the
sale
time.
boards all the time. You see them. An amazing way to advertise.
I always remember, and I may have told you this story, so please forgive me, but when I very first set up in business, I went to a business networking event and a gentleman was there and he was talking about brand and basically how to get yourself out there. And what he did, Adam, is that he walked up to somebody, let's assume it was me, and he tapped me on the shoulder and he went, right, stand up, and all I want you to do is tell me who you are and what your business is. Hi, I'm Andy Reid. I'm do Resilient Business Systems. I'm your one-stop shop for IT. I can do blah, 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 blah. He went, thank you very much. Sit back down again. He then went round to you, tapped you on the shoulder,
Yep.
stood up, and you did exactly the same thing. For the next 5 minutes, he kept coming back and using you as an example, if you like. So when he was talking about something else, about his branding, about his social media, he went, oh, Adam, sorry, remind me where you're from? HubSpot Media. Yeah. What do you do for your branding? And every other question in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, he kept coming back going, sorry, Adam from HubSpot, what do you do? About half an hour later, he came back round to me. It wasn't me, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, for the example.
Tapped me on the shoulder and he went, right, everybody, who's this? And they all went, no idea.
Yeah.
Tapped you on the shoulder and they went, who's this? And about 15 people went, it's Adam from HubSpot Media. He went, right, my point being, you need to get out there and people need to see and hear your name, your company, 7, 8, 9, 10, keep going, before it goes click, I've registered who you are.
Exactly.
You go out there and go, hi, I'm Andy from Resilient, and then walk away. Everybody goes, hi, Andy from Resilient. 10 minutes later.
It's like reinforcement, isn't it?
Reinforcement of the message.
And I think this is
That's
why.
what your van's doing.
So let's do next step. So we just talked about time there, right? If I then didn't invest my time into developing my own website,
Yeah.
if I didn't invest my time developing the content, if I didn't make sure it flowed right, worked correctly, if I didn't do all those things, that experience for that person who goes, I need an Adam, in this case, from HubSpot, we need that. They come to the website and it's not finished or it's wrong or it's full of errors. What are they going to do?
Yeah. Go elsewhere.
Walk away,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So this is the point, I suppose, I'm ultimately trying to get to. Like all of these bits in sort of micro environments are so, because you can equally sit there and go, well, who's looking at my website? It's not about who's looking at your website now. Like in the early days when I set up my website, no one was looking at it. Or
But was it
very
there?
few. It was there.
That's the key.
And it was somewhere to land people to go, this is us, right?
And a big call to action button.
Yeah. In fact, it's more important when you're smaller or new to have that nailed because they're going to validate you.
Yeah.
You need to be and I mean, trade is a really interesting one for me because a lot of tradesmen go, don't need a website. I'm booked for months because that's all word of mouth referral.
It is, and I get that as well.
My often comeback is I'd love to know, hypothetically speaking, how many of those people that then go on to book, did they try and find them online first?
We mentioned this when we did Joe Long, Tiger Dove, Louise Darg. Everybody nowadays validates via a website, social media, And I believe we are in a world now where if I mentioned or heard Adam Hub spoke, whatever, first thing I would do is I'd look online.
Yep.
If I didn't find your website or I found your website but it was in poor state, I'd be like, I would then look on social media and go, well, he hasn't posted since 2022.
There's the example that I was talking about. Our social. Imagine if our social media was worse, and you go, "I'm interested in social media." Oh, this looks terrible.
Yeah, it looks terrible. So it is that investment again. But from my point of view, I think how does a small business make that time? I know that nowadays, me and you, we are strong enough to go, stop. I've got, thankfully, you've got a Jess and a Lena. I've got an Adam. I've got I've got a Dan. I've got a Michelle. I've got an Eddie, and I've got a Luke to help me. But at the time when you're running that business as a small business owner, just where do you magically make that time? The key is you've got to, whatever you're doing, and if it means a few more longer hours or it means a sit down at the weekend and where am I going? What am I doing?
It's about working efficiently. I like to. I've got my Microsoft booking link. Thank you.
Thank you.
Supported by my IT partner, Resilient Business Systems.
Thank
But
you.
that booking link's amazing.
It is. I love it on the
Because
end of your signature.
one job is someone goes, I used it the other day. One guy was like, I need to, let's get a meeting in. When can you do? And it's that when can you do I find really difficult because I'm like, click on my calendar, right, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this. Instead, I go, click the link and have a look.
Yeah.
And then he went, I think it's broken, I can't get in next week. And I went, no. So I looked and I was like, nope, I am, wow.
Yeah, I'm booked up.
But the good thing is like, I can, that's saving me a time saving.
Yeah.
As in back and forth. You might go, that's tiny, but if you actually top that up in a week, back and forth, because someone goes, oh, can you do 12th? No, actually 13th. No, actually this. If I just give them my calendar, they can book their slot in a gap that works for them, and jobs are good. And if they need to amend it, they can amend it.
Yeah,
I don't need to.
Do you know what the real funny thing about this is? And again, I won't mention the customer's name, bless them, but when you just hang your head and just go, literally, they had that. Andy, is there not something that I can automate the calendars bookings with? I went, aha, Microsoft bookings. And I demonstrated it to this person. And it was great. He went, fantastic. But then he came back to me and he went, oh, but that means I have to keep my diary up to date.
Yep.
And I went, well, yeah.
So you've got to invest the time.
And that's exactly what you
Every
said.
day.
Bless him. He wasn't being negative, but he was like, but I've got to keep my calendar up to date. I'm like, yeah, but you take that time to fill your calendar in. You're now not spending the same amount of time going, oh, I can do Thursday, I can do Friday, I can do this, I can do that. Oh, I see where you're coming from. But when you just went like, no matter what I say.
Yeah, there's always something. And that's the thing with business. You've just got to accept that there's always a trade-off. So that is, my booking calendar needs to be up to date. But then I'm like, well, that's only a good thing. So it should be up to date. Because otherwise you're all over the show and to try and navigate. For me, you've got to look at like meetings. I'm a big fan of 30-minute meetings.
Yeah.
If I can do a 30-minute meeting, I will take that all day long if we can get what we need to.
The podcast is 30 minutes. Right, what are you doing at the weekend?
Not today. This isn't me, this is the podcast.
Sorry.
But there's a lot to be said for it.
There is.
And that's not because I'm being cutthroat. I'm just trying to be more efficient.
It's more efficient, isn't it? It's in 30 minutes, you should be able to go, what do you want? How are we going to do it? Action
The VAT
plan.
return is a great example, right? It's not my most favourite part of the business, I'll be honest. It is.
Let's have a vote. Whose favourite part is it? Hands down.
Yeah, it is so important. And it's, I've got software that reads the receipts, which is amazing because that saves time. I don't have to manually put in £6.
No.
This supplier that literally reads it. But sometimes it doesn't read it.
Yeah.
And you think you've updated it and it's kicked it back.
Yeah.
And then the bookkeeper at the accountant's going, oh, the receipt's not there.
It is.
Luckily, I mark them and I go, oh, it just hasn't read it. So then I've got to go and find it. But that other stuff saves me a lot of time in terms of reading it. But it's so important that I do it. Do I need to invest time? Yes. I have to stop what I'm doing, down tools, and go and solely focus on that. I usually go home to do it as well.
That's what me and Michelle, we tend to now do things like business planning. We do it at home.
Yeah.
Because we're, blessed, we're busy during the day. We're so busy. But even though it's like, ran, right. We know we're going home, all joking apart. It's typically a Friday night that we do every other month, every month. It's typically a Friday night. And okay, we do have a glass of wine, but it's like, right, how's the business going? Where are we going next? What have we got coming up? Blah, blah, blah. It's in a more controlled, relaxed atmosphere that we're both enjoying, we're both drinking. But if we don't do it, we're like, well, we'll never do it. So why don't we do it out of hours? But okay, sometimes we go to our local pub and we talk about work and going, right, so what are we doing about Adam? When are we going to tell him we're not using him for his... Oh, hang on. But it's all about those things, isn't it? And that's what I'm saying, Adam. Sometimes, as a small business owner, there is only the time out of the working day.
Yep.
But if you do it the right way, as in a nice atmosphere or in a meal or a restaurant, I think you find it's like, it's okay, you're talking
I
about
sometimes
work.
need to step out the office
absolutely.
to have
that thing. And God bless, I'll say it openly, you sometimes kind of pop up and I'm like, what's up, Adam? And me and you bounce ideas off. That's where the podcast came from.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's great to have somebody to do that with, but back to your point, if you don't do it, I see friends of family and with their business, and they're very, very, very busy, and it's great. But sadly, I've seen probably more than half fail because they didn't look up. As your painter man, I don't need a website. I don't need social media. I'm far, far, far too busy. Oh, I'm not. Cash flow suddenly dries up, and I've invested all of this money in the van, and right.
Exactly, and I think that is so. And you know what? I got better at it, and people could go, well, it's all right for you, Adam. You've got staff. Right,
but
hang on, I didn't have staff though. But all right. I've got a team doing some great work.
Great team,
fantastic work over there. That one in here today. Alina's behind the desk today.
Exactly,
but phenomenal work, right?
Yeah.
But what comes with that no one seems to realise is I feel a strong responsibility to make sure that I can pay Alina.
Yeah, definitely.
At the end of the month.
Yeah.
In order to do that. So my duty to the business is to make sure we've got the cash to pay everybody that's in the business.
Yeah.
Because I feel I am responsible. I feel responsible. Staff are not disposable assets.
Absolutely
They're
not.
the
You
biggest
invested
asset you can have in a business.
Absolutely.
They are fantastic to have. They're incredible. But with that, Spider-Man says, with great power comes great responsibility. No, but
does he say it in that voice?
Yeah. But there is a huge, I feel, responsibility on my shoulders to make sure, if I don't do the VAT return properly, we would face fines.
Yeah.
That would incur a cost to the business. That could cause pressure on the cash flow, and that could cause pressure on the staff salaries.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Where's the work coming in from?
Yeah.
How long are our contracts running? What are we scheduled to make for the year? It's not me sat on a bed of cash counting money, and I think some people think that's what it is.
No.
Believe me, it's not.
No.
It's kind of accurately I need to take the time out now, more so because I've got staff, not because I'm just able to. It's actually they're busy, I'm busy, they're busy doing their things, I'm busy doing my client work. Because I'm not just handing everything off to them. We're just able to do more work.
I think that's the key.
But there's a huge responsibility to make sure that I'm doing what I should be doing in order to make sure I can make their payroll. And I take that extremely seriously.
You have to.
And it's one of the most important things to me.
But unless you want the business to grow as well. I mean, to say, there are some businesses out there, God bless, speaking to a few of my good customers, and, he's the gentleman I'm thinking of, he's exceptionally busy. And I'm like, are you going to take on more staff? He went, no. He says, I never will, purely because of the fact that he does make a decent living. He's happy doing what he's doing, and he has the. I won't say he's got the goal, but he's in such a good position. He can actually turn around and say, "Oh, hello, Mister, new work," and he went, "No, thank you. Right. I can't do it because I'm so busy doing what I'm doing," and he doesn't want that. So that's a great position to be in, but
that's equally how someone can run the business. I could go down the route where I go. Like back in the day, I could have gone, no, Adam, the one-man band.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. And I'd have to manage that appropriately with work levels and this, that, and the other. But that's not what my business, I want it to also offer employment opportunities for people in our industry.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But that's just my personal.
But it's also mine, as we know. We've taken on Luke. Hopefully, he becomes our apprentice. I don't think I'll ever get to be, like a Microsoft or whatever. I don't want that, but I want to help. Obviously, my family looking after. I've got my good friend Eddie. He's working in the business. We're now offering a business to Luke. So I do want the business to grow, and I want to be able to offer. As we were laughing the other day, isn't it? My problem seems to be I'm just getting lots of referrals now.
Yep.
And I'm just like, can you all just go away, please?
Yeah,
in the nicest way.
It's a great problem, but then you're like, how do you take it? I was saying it to you. I was like, Andy, I need to seriously look at. I'm looking at. I said I'm looking at cash flow. It's in workflow, really.
Yeah.
Looking at workflow and projects and seeing what I can do. Like you're going, hey, I've got this potential Shopify thing, and I'm going, great, let's do it.
Yeah.
We're well placed to do it. But then you need to, and I think that's the other thing. I've got to take time now to go right. Our overheads are X, our profits, hopefully, are Y.
Hang on, you make a profit in your business.
Well, the thing is, if I then go, there's a staff member.
Yeah,
that impacts the profits.
Of course it does.
See, so you've got to go right. So how many profits do I need? How many profits for so long do I need? What bills have we got going out? What software have we got? All those overheads. What computer's about to fall over and we need to replace it?
Actually, if you're talking about new staff, new computers, so you have to buy another computer. There's another Microsoft 365 monthly cost.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. Back to your analysis of your cash flow, you go, okay, so I pay for this person. Right, well, it's a computer.
Yep.
Your IT support goes up because it's an extra thing. Your Microsoft goes up. But all of that has to go into the melting pot for you to go, I want to grow HubSpot.
Yep.
And I want to be able to offer. So let me ask you another interesting question. If you don't expand, if you don't get another Adam, another thing, do you believe genuinely that you will start to let down your customers in terms of workflow? And is that also a factor in what you're thinking?
Yeah, I'm going to say, I could say yes, but I'm going to say no.
Good.
The difference is because I know we'd need to manage that process.
Right, okay.
If it was Adam in the business early days, then potentially Adam wasn't as busy, if that makes sense. What I'm going to say is no, but what we then have to start doing is implementing waiting lists.
Yes.
So that would be the next thing that we do. The problem you have running it, and at this stage I'm seeing it, and I'm really wrestling with it at the moment. This was all about time. It wasn't actually like these challenges I'm facing, but actually it's turned into quite a good sort of thing, hopefully, because it does provide insight.
Yeah.
What I'm wrestling with is you do a waiting list system. So let's say, right, website client number 1, you're in 2 weeks. Website client number 3, you're in 4 weeks. We know we've talked about the challenges we faced over getting things turned around.
Absolutely.
Like, I need you to literally input in your business or sign off or whatever. But let's say photography client number 4 comes in and the event is happening during website number 1.
Yeah.
That's the challenge.
Yeah.
And then I've got to go, well, does that fit with the business and how do I do that? So it is like a game of chess sometimes that you're playing, and it's not like, it's not like you're playing Fortnite and you do a level, you win, you level up 3 levels. It's not...
Adam's leveled up.
Yeah, we're talking like 3 months to like implement, to concept an idea, implement it, and then start seeing the change. And then you're probably talking another 6 months potentially to then see the results of the work.
Yeah.
I've invested a fortune in the podcast room, for example. All I've done every month, it feels, until like the last 2, is invest in the kit because we're tweaking it, we're tuning it.
Yeah, well, the cameras are new, the cuddle corners was new.
Yeah. But I was like, we need to do that. We need to invest time. Those panels in the cuddle corner, for example, got sound panels. I had to invest the time to stick them all on a thing and stick it on the wall. I'm sat there with me and Jess had a glue gun. We're like sticking them all together, and you're like,
really?
It took an afternoon of messing about to kind of get things sorted with the furniture. We went and got the I'm running around the range buying plants, like how does that convert? Well, a plant doesn't convert, but it's like it sets the scene. Aesthetically,
it's very nice when I walk in now. When other people walk in, I brought in, when you were away in New Zealand, obviously I had a few guests of my own.
Yep.
The first time they walked in, we said, all right, so here's the podcast studio. I don't think anybody went, ugh. They all went,
Exactly.
oh, this is actually quite nice. I like the little plants. I like the TV. It's a great setup you've got in them.
Yeah, but we had to invest in it.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, it would just be a room with a table in the middle, and because there's no stuff in it, it'd be echoey.
Echoey.
So, like, all of that is an example there of how you need to invest time. I make sure I do it. I know you do it. I often go, what you doing the weekend? Programming.
Yes, exactly.
Because you're trying to do it. And I think anyone, if you are listening to this, that is running a small business,
Don't do it.
You need to. That's what you do. When I told you we're going to talk about time, you're like, I'm going to say, don't do it.
Exactly.
You need to invest on the core business in terms of what you're doing. Sometimes you might be sat there going, but I'm not getting paid for this. And it's like, but that's the on the business stuff that you need to sort. It's laying the foundations so that when you come to do the work, you can do it.
It's a real interesting one. If I go back to my example that we did with Stuart,
Yep.
He showed me what the problem was. It's like, right, so you're taking time out, and he says I have to manually do this and manually do this. It's ball ache, and he didn't use those words. He used a stronger language. And obviously, as a business owner, I gave him a solution, but it was a paid for solution. I'm like, got to pay for it. But, and you've spoken to Stuart, because bless him, he's managed to do me a little testimonial.
Yes.
The great thing is, he said, okay, yes, I had to pay that money, but within 2 to 3 months, I've paid back. Because now, and you've seen it, click.
It's also just a bit of a stress reducer. Because
Absolutely.
it's like he no longer has to do that. He could just click a button and
And it does it all automatically for him. But isn't that back down to, maybe the topic of this podcast about your time management? That was time management. Okay, he had to outlay some cash. He had to get me to write him some stuff, but then he's brought it back and he's going, but that was a good investment of money because I'm saving time now. My daily job, I'm going, it's a button now. It's not, what he said, 20, 30 minutes of my life every single day.
Well, networking the network cameras. We had these cameras running. And we're using the remotes to control, like the physical remotes to go over and control them. It took me a couple of weeks after getting the controller to get it in because I was having some. I came in. I was like, right, I've got like an hour and a half. I'll have a go. Couldn't quite crack it. Then I was like, right, I think did some more research away on an evening because it was like the only time I had. And I was like, right, I think I know the plan of attack. So then I came in again, dialed into each camera, set them up on what I needed to do, turned on the network controller thing, set that up. Again, I'm sat there in this room on my own with like my phone binging and bonging.
Yeah.
Inbox filling up, but I was like, I need to crack this controller system because we need it in order to move forward. So I think my thing today, call to action, time in your business is the most important thing that you can spend your time on. Yes, you need to do the work and do that, and it's very easy to get caught up in the work, but please just focus some structured time. So if you're looking at the job that you keep putting off, which is understandable, often website copy is one of those jobs. We all know how important it is.
Absolutely.
Just get something down. Even if you want to use ChatGPT, but just be aware if it starts using the word elevate and puts a rocket emoji in it, probably want to edit it.
Exactly.
But if you need to use tools like that to get something down and then tailor it to what you're doing, use the tools that are available to you.
No, absolutely.
Just put the time and energy into it because it will pay you back in the long term. Cash flow forecast, get a spreadsheet, money in, money out, put all your months for your year. And then when you know that you've got a job in, you add it to that column. So you might have, for us, it's website stuff, media commissions, consultancy, social media, pod plans.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've got all our different bits, and when I know what we've got, we put it in there. So then I can look. Because then if a camera does break, and they do, and we've got lenses that are coming up for service, like I'm going to have to get my camera lenses serviced, but then I'm going to have to take one of my lenses out. Of service, but then I'm like, I'm literally sat here going, do I buy another lens? So I still have a lens while the other one
is being
serviced, and then I've got a spare lens. Then you're like, well, then I've got a spare lens. Well, no, you're weighing up all this, but what you can do is look at your cash flow forecast and go, right, what's the cash coming in? What are the overheads? actually, we've got room to do that. And then you're not necessarily going and putting yourself under due pressure. It's the most important thing to do. And the problem is, you don't necessarily get taught any of this at school, per se,
Time
because you're
management.
doing English, maths, science, and they're all relevant and they're all skills that go into it. But physically running a business,
Don't do it.
don't do it.
No.
It's all things
It
that
is.
you
It's
need
all
to
about
do,
time.
and sometimes it is self-taught. Podcasts should help you, YouTube, all this stuff, but invest some time on actually getting stuff done. Don't go down rabbit holes.
No.
Don't get distracted. Go, I'm going to do this one job. I've got a thing called a Pomodoro timer.
Yeah, you told me about this one where you.
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes. It's a hexagon, and you got 15, 30. I literally go, right, I'm going to do my emails, and I'll put it on 15
Yeah.
on a morning. And I'm like, you are not allowed, because the other morning I had my inbox open. I had Adobe Lightroom editing photographs. I'd logged into Shopify, and I was also in our social media management software.
You multitasker, you.
Yeah, well then I was like, hang on a minute, I was meant to be editing the photographs.
Yeah. And you got
And
sidetracked
I'd
doing.
opened all the other stuff. I had Teams open as well. And then it was when I found Lightroom in the background with the photos. Like, you haven't finished editing those yet.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know,
Time
it's so
management,
easy
yeah.
to get
It is.
distracted.
No, it is.
You know, I work on it myself. Rant over.
No, that was a really, really good episode in terms of. I think every business owner
I think
has.
it's just practical challenges of running a business.
Yeah, but also we keep on going back to this as well, Adam. And, you know, as I say, we joke about the one listener, but I hope our listeners get this. You know, you're not alone. We all have the same issues. Yeah, I'm celebrating 20 years next year. Did I think I'd get to 20 years? Never. But step at a time. Do what you do.
Even I pinch myself when I say 8.
I
Like,
know. 8 years.
Which sounds, to me, 8 sounds a lot, but it really hasn't felt it. And you're
No.
probably the same with 20.
Absolutely.
Like, you probably feel like it's 35. I mean, 10. You know, but it does, because you're busy, things happen so quickly.
Yeah. But also, if I can add, never, ever stop enjoying it.
No. And I do enjoy it.
I love it. I joke about don't do it, but if I was given the opportunity, I'd have set the business 20 years earlier.
Now, whilst I say VAT return isn't my favourite job, I do get something from it, knowing
course
that
you
I'm
do.
delivering the business. Cash flow forecast is good because I'm kind of looking at what we do next.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
I'm always looking forward, not backwards.
Absolutely, me too.
You need to take in what you've done.
Yeah.
You need to learn your challenges. We've had some challenges where we've had to negotiate some, tricky contracts, tricky times. It's put us under pressure, and we've had to deal with it. So you need to take those lessons, and then you need to move on.
Yeah, but
Because
it's
you can't let
also
it define you.
it's always looking for that extra advantage as well. And you've done that this week with Shopify. You've now become a Shopify official partner.
And the truth is, there's no reason why I can't. Because we are doing websites, we are doing photography, we're doing all sorts of stuff. There's no reason why we can't do that. So, I think also you've got to have your focus in your areas. So don't get too diluted.
No,
But
absolutely.
that, Shopify, in our case, is an absolute logical step because if we have someone that wants online retail, it could be a really good solution for them.
Absolutely.
If that's what they're
if
after.
that's what they're after. Yeah, no,
And
definitely.
again, it's not just peddling. You need Shopify. It'd be looking at them first and going, right, what works for you?
But, well, we talk about our other customer that we've recently migrated. That wasn't a Shopify solution. It didn't
No.
fit. It didn't
No, it didn't
fit
fit.
anyway. But now, again, this is what I look at. When everybody comes to me and says, I want a laptop, I obviously like, okay, Windows, Mac, my Chromebook for what they want. Again, if I take the time out to learn about these things, it's giving me the ability to say to my customer, here's my informed decision. Tell me what you want. I think a Chromebook would be best for you. And I had that literally a couple of months back where we had a customer and they said, all we want to be able to do is give our, they bring customers in and train them, access to this particular website, blah, blah, blah. We've looked at a laptop, and as we mentioned before, £400, £500, £600 depending. I'm looking for as cheap as possible. Sat down with them. What are you doing? They explained everything to me, and I went, Chromebook. Is all you ever want to do browse the web? And I'm like, Chromebook, 100%. These are £200. And she was like, this is fantastic, Andy.
One last thing.
Go for it.
I've been using my Zorin laptop.
Zorin, the latest version of Zorin has just been released.
Yeah,
Very, very good. Very good.
So I've been, the Linux laptop has been in use.
Yeah. I saw a friend who didn't pop around. I've not seen him for years, bless him. And he went, I've got this old laptop. I don't know what to do. First thing I said, Zorin. And he went, what the heck? He texted me the other day, honestly, Andy, my laptop's got a new lease of life.
It's amazing. Like, for those that don't know what we're talking about, we did an episode a while, it's probably
Week
nearly a year ago now. We did an episode on Linux, and I didn't know much about Linux.
No.
So the idea is Linux uses a lot less system stuff, simply put, against Windows.
Yeah.
So I had a laptop that was grinding to a halt. I installed Linux on it. Zorin OS is the operating system. Runs like a dream.
It is beautiful.
So there we go. So even like a small business owner who wants to start on a budget and you just need something on, like, you could get away with Zorin and things like that.
100%. If all you ever do is online web stuff, Microsoft 365 web and Teams, Zorin
You're
would
away.
be perfect.
What are you doing this
Programming.
weekend? Programming. Are you? Are you actually?
Yeah, I'm actually doing some programming. I've not done it for a while because I've been
Yeah,
so
you've had a
busy, so busy with everything else. And funny enough, talking about time out, Adam, the last weekend, I mean, we may have said on the podcast I was programming, but actually we got to the weekend and I went, do you know what? No, time out. So me and Michelle's had a bit of time to each other.
This is where we're big. I saw you were gaming on Friday night last week.
Yes.
Mafia.
Mafia 3 Definitive
Because
Edition.
I'll be truthful, I got to the end of the week and I was like, I want to play some computer games.
Yeah.
I loved it. I had a great time. So I'll be doing the same tonight.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I think last Saturday we did the MSG Elevate as well, which is a great shout out. That was very, very good. But again, the Sunday, we just chilled the heck out. We've worked Monday to Saturday. So Sunday, I didn't do any programming. I literally didn't even play any games. Me and Michelle just chilled out and watched films. We watched, what did we watch? We ended up watching 3 or 4 films, one after another, and just sat on the couch and just went, let's chill out.
Lovely.
So a bit of programming this weekend, bit of stuff, getting ready for next weekend. We've got a busy October, so a couple of busy weekends coming up, which I'll tell you about the next time. But yeah, bit of a chilled weekend. What about yourself?
I'm going to do some gaming this evening.
Nice.
Maybe watch some rugby on TV.
No.
So I'll maybe do that.
Who's playing?
I don't know. I need to look.
You need to look it up.
Yeah, I need to see when which fixtures when.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, tomorrow it's a double header in the rugby for us. So it is a league game, but the same team that we're playing, we also have in the cup. So what you can do is you could go to the other team. Shall we say this result counts as our league game and counts as our cup game?
Can you do that in rugby?
Oh, yeah, right. At this level.
All right, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, not
see it in the Premiership or anything like that. But yeah, so we are. Yeah, we're doing that. So it's one game, but it counts as
2.
Because otherwise you're just playing the same team
so
again.
If you win that game, you're playing, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you win that game, you're allowed to lose one game. Because in fact, in reality, that's so.
No, it doesn't work.
Does it
like
not?
that.
Right, okay.
No. So if we beat them in the league, we'll get the points in the league.
Yeah.
And if we beat them tomorrow, basically we'll get the points in the league and we'll get through the first round in the cup.
What if they say no?
They said yes.
But what if they said no?
No, you just have to play 2.
You just have to play 2 games.
Yeah, because there are games where they can be quite close.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
also it's looking at weekends. Obviously, the fixtures. We're all
Very busy.
working people that are playing in the leagues. So quite often they go, yeah, we'll do that. Partly because it's putting your body through another game as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of can save the bodies a bit, save the injuries. Because you do take knocks and things like this as you go.
I'd like to see that in the Premiership. First week, the first game. Right. So if we win this game, I've won the league.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing. So that's what we're doing tomorrow. So it's quite a good, it's a big game anyway in the league. But it makes it slightly even bigger because it's
so that's Saturday. What about Sunday?
Sunday is kids rugby.
All right, okay.
And we do nothing now. Well, I certainly do nothing on the Sunday now. I'm just like I'm cooked. I get to this point in the week. I've worked for my weekend.
You certainly have, my friend.
I'm happy saying that, and I really enjoy them. So, yeah, rugby tomorrow. I'm watching some football in the morning. Kids football.
Oh, gosh.
Kids football in the morning. In fact, tomorrow's really busy. Kids football in the morning. I've got a meeting at the rugby club for the board stuff that I do.
Yeah.
And then I've got the game.
Gosh, right. So that's a full day out for you.
Yeah, there is a comedy night at the rugby club, but I'm not going to that because
You'll be
I'll be exhausted. So yeah, but no. Other than
Hey,
that,
good episode,
it's
my
been a
friend.
great
Thank
week.
you.
Thank you for your time.
Hey, I see what you did there.
Yeah. And if anyone thinks we got a bit weird with that, it's really important to invest time in your business.
Okay.
Can't stress it enough.
Absolutely.
Can I show you my van?
Yeah.
Come on then. See
All
you
right then.
later, guys.
See you later, everybody. Bye.